I'm very happy to welcome you all once again to the second day's proceedings. I see Professor Bharat very charming and very cheerful for the second day's proceedings. He has given you a lot of work to attend to yesterday night and even for today also. And it was really a productive exercise, sir. And many people were anxious and enthusiastic to participate in activities. That shows your involvement in the whole of the activity. And really, I am personally very happy for that. In fact, I should thank you from the bottom of my heart for all these experience given to our teacher friends. Friends, Dr. Bharat has been a very intent learner and teacher as far as using of e-technologies is concerned. Though he is from Department of English, you can just see his command and control over the e-tools, which itself shows that any one of us can follow Dr. Bharat's footsteps. So it is not difficult, it is not alien. We can definitely move ahead and imbibe the technology within us. So I hope today's and tomorrow's sessions will be much more engaging. And today, as he himself told yesterday, he will be talking about engaging learners in online remote learning. So in fact, Professor Bharat today doesn't need any introduction or any introductory remarks. So he will be one with us. And now I request Professor Bharat to start the session. But before that, I request all of you to please mute your microphones and also please do not press the share button. Over to you, Professor Bharat.
Yes, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Ramu, please mute your mic. Mr. Ramu.
Yes, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Please mute your mic. Mic mute ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ, please.
Yes. Okay. Thanks a lot. Yeah. It was very interesting to see that many participants were very enthusiastically working on their task, and throughout the night, in the morning also, I kept on receiving email notifications regarding several things. It was good to see the enthusiasm also among all the participants, that they are very eagerly and keen to work out, and many of you have completed your task also. So first we will try to overview this Google Classroom, wherein this work has been done and how does it look. That we will try to look here. Just a minute, yeah, okay. In the Google Classroom, yeah. So we have given grades also to the work that is given. Random grades are given to everybody, and you can see that there are many participants who have not completed the work also. That's why the overall class average is quite low. It is 13%, but many of you have done well and completed your various works also there. The purpose of showing this is to see that when this way the work is given through learning management system or this kinds of thing, then students also get motivated in looking at their scores and marks and other thing also. I would like to ask you, are you able to see your score in your app, Google Classroom app, either in laptop or in mobile phone? Are you able to see that?
Yeah, yes, sir. We can see.
Yes, yes. Yes, are you able to? You can put a chat comment also, and you can also tell that you are able to see the score there. So that is how I have evaluated. Random evaluation is given. If you have done your work, 100 out of 100 marks are given. If you have done a slight mistake in putting not putting things in a proper way, then 75, 50, 25 and 0. 4 parameters were set for working on this, and that we have done there. Now, couple of errors that we have made also, couple of errors and mistakes that we have made yesterday was that our instructions were very clear, that you are supposed to give a private comment or personal comment. When you submit a task in a Google Classroom, there you find mark as done, as well as this that you put as a comment your link or link, then link can easily be given because there is a feature of attaching a link. But if you want to give a code, Then for the code, you have to put it in a comment. So that was given. But many of you can see here that many of you have given this comments as a class comment, which is open for everybody. Yeah? Like see, for example, here we are seeing here one link given, but that is a class comment given there. A class comment we were not asking for. We are asking for private or personal comment there. So when a private or personal comment is given, for example, if I open this task here that was given, then you will be able to see here. Again, I would again request that if you are on mobile phone, then rotate your screen, rotate your mobile screen so you can see the things in a better way. Rotate your screen. Either standing mobile, you won't be able to see full screen. So keep rotated mobile phone so you can see full screen there. Okay? Some of the fonts may not be visible because of bandwidth and other reasons here. But here you can see that, for example, see, Miss Archana H here, and here the comment is given. Yeah, here the comment. So this is what we call private comments. So I can see here directly when I want to give marks, then I can directly see here that the private comment is given. Class comment is outside. So you have to go out, come in, go out, come in when you are doing evaluation or marking, grading in Google Classroom. Now, if you don't do grading or marking in Google Classroom, then Google Classroom is a mere content management system. It is not learning management system. So if you want to use it as a learning management system, if learners' progression is recorded, a feedback in terms of marks or in terms of comments by teacher, if it is given to the students, then it becomes in a real sense the full utilization of applications like Google Classroom. So we wanted to see. So for example, here Dr. Lingaraj has given properly. The comment is that code is given properly. So 100 out of 100 marks are given there. So many of you, Dr. Veena, for example, also has given properly the comment there, and they are given full marks. Some made a slight error. So code not given was my comment, and then it is given by Umesh, Mr. Umesh Shagoti. Afterward, the code is given after the comment, which I have sent to the concerned person. These students have not done, so it is showing missing task is showing here in this task. And this is how all this, our four tasks we have worked on today. And based on that, we have given random marking to everybody, and you have got your score also in this term today. Today you are going to get 4 tests. Small tests will be there. 4 small tests will be given. We will discuss a few part of theoretical things today, and from based on that, there are simple tests which are given from where you can find answers. The link also is given in the quiz. So by clicking on the link, you will go to a particular website, and from there you can easily find answers. Even in case you cannot find answers, no need to worry about it. We are practicing. We are doing kind of hands-on practice. So that work is given. So by 5 o'clock today evening, around 5 o'clock, you will get 4 notifications in Google Classroom. And there you will get the links of 4 online tests. So you have to submit the test, you have to give the marks and give the test. And whatever score you are achieving, whatever score you are receiving out of that score, remember this carefully, that score you have to give as private comment or personal comment in Google Classroom. And again, you have to tap mark as done or turn in or submit the work, whatever, because in various applications, things keep on changing. Sometimes it is turn in, sometimes it is mark as done, sometimes it is submit. So whatever command you are getting in that, you have to tap that also. So it will come unsubmit. Unsubmit means your work is submitted. If you see unsubmit, it means your work is already submitted there. Again, what task you have to do today? Many of you were asking yesterday at the end of the class also, and in various comments also. So we told that you watch a video. The video you can watch, and you can come to know about the instructions which are given right in the beginning. Let me give the instructions and repeat it again. 4 tests you will get in Google Classroom. Google Classroom, not in Google Group. Google Classroom. So if you are not a member of Google Classroom, you may not get the notifications. If you are not the member of Google Classroom, we have 247 participants as the member of Google Classroom. So if you are not the member of Google Classroom, you may not get notifications. The classroom links were sent yesterday in WhatsApp group also. So if you just click on that, you can become the member of Google Classroom. So if you want to participate in that activity of giving a test and then trying to see the result of those things, which tomorrow in thoroughly we are going to discuss, then become a member of Google Classroom. So you will get a notification in the evening there. 4 tests. Once you appear in the test, you will get automatic auto reply. You will get in auto reply, you will get correct answers, right answers, wrong answers. Things will be good, and your marks will also be good. Pick up the marks. Come back to Google Classroom. Go to this task. Type your marks as private comment or personal comment and turn it in. So your marks will be updated in Google Classroom by the 3rd day when we do the analysis in the beginning there. So that is the task you have to do. Now see, if you do not get email address, when you submit a Google form, the test, and if you do not get, it means there is a mistake in your email address. When you have typed your email address, if there is a slight error in the email address, then you will not get auto-generated marks, correct answers, wrong answers, this. And many of you have given email addresses with error. Many email addresses were there. Around 24 to 25 email addresses I have corrected also when I was adding them in Google group. And many emails bounced back also. They bounced back also. So when hurriedly we are filling the form in mobile device, and there are all chances of a little bit of space or capitalization or some error of dot here and there, and then the email is not proper. What is important for us is that when we are experiencing working on small device like a Google Classroom or Google Docs or other thing, we know that we tend to make mistake in understanding instructions properly. We also tend mistake in following what we are supposed to do also. This all kinds of things our students are going to make. These errors are going to be made by our students also. So that is a very interesting key to understand, that if I am an online learner, I know the problems of online learning. But if I'm not, I was never an online learner, and suddenly I become an online teacher, then obviously the problem is that I won't understand. The dynamics of online learning, and little bit of errors, and then sometimes we become angry on our students that, well, this simple things you don't understand. But when we are doing, we also tend to make mistakes. We also tend to make some mistakes or errors. When we see, it seems very easy. When we sit down to work, it becomes very difficult also there. See, remember yesterday I told you to I shared this document where you have to type your work. So in this, I told that if you are a member of Google group, then only you will be able to access. And then many of you were sending me emails about how to access this. Now see, even today I'm still receiving this innumerable emails. See, this series of emails that I have received yesterday, everybody asking to access the document. All this are the emails where people are asking to access the document, and I to everybody I sent a common email that join Google group to access the spreadsheet. If you will become a member of Google group, you will be able to access, and I gave the link of yesterday's video recording also. But remember, see, there's so many emails, and these instructions were given a day prior also. A day prior email was sent, a WhatsApp message also was sent, and yet many of the participants were making this mistake of asking to access, or they were not able to access this spreadsheet. As I told you that only if you are a member of Google group, then only it will happen. So now you can understand that what is this importance of Google group also. Google group, what is the importance? And don't confuse between Google group and Google Classroom. Many of you had a confusion regarding this also. So many of you were trying to enter code in group. The code was not for the group, code was for Classroom. So Classroom is a different thing, Google group is a different thing. And in a pyramid, in that pyramid, we have also seen the pyramidical structure that we were seeing yesterday. In that pyramid, we have also seen that, just a minute, let me bring that pyramid here. in this pyramid we were seeing yesterday that just a minute, yeah. So in this we're looking at this, no, that the bottom CMS LMS, this bottom which we're looking at down, that is for Google Classroom and Drive, and then DCL, that is digital communication links, Now that is exactly what we are looking at for Google Group instead of WhatsApp or other thing, and we're trying to see that why it is more safe, not only safe but in lot many other work it helps us. So when I am sharing a content in Google Drive, today we will work on that also to make things engaging as a part of that learning, that when I prepare something on Google Drive and when I want the participants to work together, at that time I require everybody's email addresses. And everybody's email address every time hundreds of students in our classroom is nearly impossible. So Google Group will help. Only one email address you have to remember. That's why our task was to identify two things: URL of your Google Group, which you can send to the people so people can join. This also was the question which I received. Many of you were asking that how to add members. Now remember, this is very important point, that whether it is WhatsApp group or any kinds of digital communication channels that we are preparing, instead of adding people from your side as a teacher, always ask students to join. So give them the link. When you prepare a WhatsApp group, you will get a link. Share the link with everybody and then tell them that by clicking on the link, become the member of the group. Why this is necessary? Because if there are any kinds of legal problems because of digital networking and digital thing, then we can say that, well, people have joined voluntarily, with their own willingness they have joined. We have not forcefully added anybody in our Google group or in WhatsApp group. That's why never add people directly, but give them the link and let it be their choice to become the member of WhatsApp group or Google group or any kinds of network link that is there. And if they don't want to be, it is not to be the member of the things. Then we can't force people to be compulsorily the members of this communication channels link. So that is very important part. So here also you send URL and give the option that anybody can join in the initial part, or even if you don't put that option, when they go to the URL of the page, they will see that ask to join, ask something, they will click and we will get notification, we will approve, and then that student will become the member of Google group. And then one email address you have to keep in mind for all other activities. So that's why these two were very important tasks in yesterday's work, that once you know what is URL, how to share URL, and what is the email, then half of your work about online teaching is done. And then second was Google Classroom. Create a classroom code, share the code or direct link. Code may be problematic sometimes. Send a direct link to the students and ask them to join. And obviously they will require Gmail email ID in your mobile phones to access Google Classroom also. So that's why the other two tasks were about code and other things there. But remember this, digital communication links is different thing, and CMS, LMS also is a different thing. Both the things are separate, that we have to keep in mind here. Okay. So these were the points which we were dealing yesterday, and we are looking at these things there. Today, in our today's task, what we have to do, what we are supposed to do, or what we are planning today here is this is our day 2 kind of work which we want to work on. And before coming to the practical aspects of working on this, we will very quickly touch upon the things which are necessary or what we want to look at here. Okay? The important part today is this, that pedagogy before technology. That is one thing that we have to keep in mind today. Pedagogy before technology. When we think of engaging learners in online remote teaching, the very important part that we keep in mind here is before technology. Now, so if I master the technology, but I don't know the pedagogy of teaching, then I am going to face tremendous problem in working out this, because my technology is not going to work. Most of us has a problem that our technology is not working. Many teachers, like routinely, or even I also face all this problem, that there is lots of fatigueness. We get tired constantly. We keep on watching screen. Our eyes are strained, and there is a stress of working with technology, because we have mastered the pedagogy of teaching in face-to-face classroom. We know that when I will go in the classroom, how am I going to start my class, where I am going to ask the question. If students are disinterested, what am I going to do? That also I know. I have tried and tested all those things. So I know if the students are getting dull or something boring is happening, then what tricks I can do in physical classroom. When to use Blackboard, when not to use, when to use PowerPoint, when to show video clip, when to have interactions, question answers. We all know. We know the pedagogy of teaching in face-to-face, but we don't know about technology. And so we keep on facing technology, camera. Like right now, there is a camera before me. I keep on looking at camera. I can't see who is on the other side. You are interested or not. I have to be this Atmanirbhar, self-reliant. I have to be. This is the buzzword nowadays, Atmanirbhar. So teachers are challenging, are facing this challenge, that we have to be self-reliant, Atmanirbhar, in a sense, like I have to just keep on talking with a camera. And in that, I don't know the pedagogy of technology, that how it will work, what can be done. That also I don't know. So because of that, we are fatigued, we are tired a lot. And then technology, radiations, that also tires our retina, brain cells, that also gets a little bit tired, and sitting throughout the day is terrible. So that's why understanding pedagogy of online teaching is very, very important. And so these ideas like flipped classroom, blended learning, online teaching versus emergency remote teaching, these are very interesting ideas. And then there is instructional design, the concept of instructional design, and how we look at the very concept of learning experience, instructional design and learning experience also. So very briefly, we want to touch upon this. I know day after tomorrow we have one session on flipped classroom, maybe on blended learning also. So you will get more ideas, but briefly we'll touch upon this, because our test, our online test in Google Classroom will be based on these topics. Today, the 4 tests that you are going to get are based on these topics there. So pedagogy, what is the pedagogy of online teaching? And then obviously people think of technology and teaching, and then we think of flipped classroom, blended learning, online teaching versus emergency remote teaching there. So the flipped classroom, as we know very briefly, because you have a setup, I am not going deep into flipped classroom, but it's very simple thing is like that. Normally in normal traditional classroom, we teach the lesson and homework is given, and homework is given to the students to work alone. So in one of this, you will find one of this image here. You find that there is a group of students in black color, blue color is teacher, and here the teacher is in the classroom. There is a group, and when the student is going home, he is all alone. He is all alone working on the homework there. In flipped classroom, a student take the main task, main class or main lesson all alone, or in a group. The choices are both. And then in the classroom, there is a group discussion. So homework is done in the class and classwork is done as homework. That is flipping the classroom there. It's a very interesting concept, a very interesting way this unfolds, and it works in a very, very interesting way. We have tried several things with flipped learning in our environment there, and we are getting very interesting result. What is the challenging thing? Challenging thing in flipped classroom is that teachers have to be ready for any kind of questions. There are lots of questions that come in flipped learning classroom. So what we normally do is that we prepare a list of videos, PDF, PPTs, and that is after an introductory class, it is given to the students that, okay, now read this, watch these videos, and come with questions in the classroom. come with questions in the classroom. So when we meet in the classroom, all students are ready with questions. They have watched videos, they have read PDF, they have gone through PPTs prepared by teachers, and there is interesting interaction in the classroom there. A challenge that we faced initially in flipped class: students don't read what we ask them to read. Students don't watch also videos. Also, they don't watch when we ask them to watch. So you'll have to make an instructional design. You have to design your module, and that is where engaging learners become very interesting. This is a very interesting idea about engaging learners in online mode, and that is that you have to give various tasks them to. That you have to say that, well, when you read PDF, you have to answer this question. So along with PDF reading material, you give a small quiz also, online quiz, so that they are motivated to appear in the quiz. They keep on reading the material, or to find answers of the online test, they will read material. They will not read material for the sake of reading material or to just absorb some information, but they will read material to find answers. So we have to prepare questions in such a way that they are very informative. They also require thinking abilities. It also requires creative thinking also. It also challenges them to read here and there in nooks and corner of the material. So along with reading material or video resources, what we have to do is to prepare online tests also. And when you give the task to them, don't give the task only for the reading or watching without online test. Online tests should be interactive. You can, if you want to put it, or you can say that as soon as they appear, that they get the result also. They get their result also. Or in the classroom, you can open up the test. You can release the scores in the classroom. So in the classroom, they quickly check. And very important point for instructional design here is that always when you are giving answer key, tomorrow we are going to discuss about Google quiz and answer key and other things are there. So in tomorrow's session, we will discuss this point again. But when you prepare an online test for your flipped classroom, or for reading material or videos that you have given, at that time in the answer key, also keep some wrong answers. Keep wrong answer key. So students, you will have to ask them, are all answers correct? Well, they will say no, some of them are wrong. So we'll say which is wrong answer, what is right answer, and then say where is it, where is the right answer? Show me, give me the proof. Is it in video? Is it in material PDF? It is in PowerPoint. Where is it? Find and give me that resource. So that way, that makes something very interesting. Deliberately give some wrong answers in the answer key when you prepare your classroom there. And then when the video is given, what we do is that from each video, they have to ask one question. At least one question they will have to ask from each video. So they will watch video to ask question. To ask question, they will have to watch video. So in the classroom, if we are in face-to-face classroom after this, what we ask them is that now write your questions on the board. Go to the board and write down. So the board is full with questions. The board is full with questions. And then teacher will keep on answering. Very interesting. Students are very curious to know what will be the answer of my question. So that becomes very interesting part of this learning. When we are completely online, then we use Google Classroom, and we tell that in private comment or in class comment. In class comment also this can be asked. In class comment, put your questions after watching the task. As a class comment, put your question. That is what we do there. So see, what is this pedagogy of flipped learning? Technology plays a very vital role in this. Technology is at the center now, but technology means it can be a PDF text also. The textbook is digital now. The material is in PowerPoint now. So the book is converted into image, and the image is put on PPT or direct image slideshow is given. But in some form, the digital form of the text is shared with the students. So that, and only sharing the material is not going to work. The pedagogy will tell that what activities are students going to do, and for that activity we have to prepare supporting online test. For the sake of online test, they will do that. And for videos, ask them to prepare the list of questions to be asked in the classroom. whether you are in online mode or in offline mode, wherever, but questions are necessary there. This pedagogy is more important. Otherwise, technology is not going to work and our classrooms are not going to be interactive also. So when students are asked that, well, tell me, are your answers correct? They will come up and they will say, no, this answer is right. It is given wrong. This is the right answer. We'll say, where is the answer? They'll say that in this material, in this PPT, slide number 7, it says this. In video, at this time lapse, time space, it is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. There you will find this answer is right. And well, you will say, well, students are speaking in online. They are engaging now. They are now interacting. It is not that they remain completely silent on the other side, but they are now getting some kind of motivation to work there. So that is how you use flipped learning with the help of technology. That is very important. Your how part will play a very vital role in working with this there. Blended learning, when we try to look at the very idea of blended learning in this concept, what we see here interestingly is this, that blended learning is a lot many things together here. Yeah, and we see that so many things put together. There is an image of mixture given here, and then there is connected learning, there is online, there is global connections, project-based learning, face-to-face, everything comes together, the classroom and then online. Both the things are blended together. Nowadays, we are not getting a chance to have the blended learning, but we have to improvise. We have to improvise for our engagement with the learnings. And our classroom is going now online. Our face-to-face classrooms are going online through Meet and other kinds of things. So we'll have to try to work out that how we utilize the potential of all these things in different capacities there. So a couple of things that we want to see, that when you want to use Glassboard or Blackboard in the classroom, how it can be done, or when you want to use Google Drive kind of things, how you will blend so that students can do something on that side. They don't remain silent spectator, but you are giving them some opportunity you are giving to them, so that they can also try to work on something on that particular side. That is very significant part that we need to look into this part there. So blended learning, and how well are we going to have ideas to deal with those things? So a couple of things we want to see today. One is about Glassboard. The Glassboard idea I want to share with you. And along with Glassboard, I will also talk about Google Drive as somewhere where we can engage the things there. So we are trying to replace classroom learning with some kinds of online tools there. Finally, for our theoretical part for today, emergency remote teaching, ERT, as we call it, that what is this ERT and how we try to look at this idea of ERT in this concept. Yeah? So when we try to look at this idea, emergency remote teaching, so as yesterday also we made a point that we are actually not doing online teaching, but we are doing emergency remote teaching. Well-planned online learning experiences are meaningfully different from courses offered online in response to a crisis or disaster. Our response to crisis or disaster is something else, and it obviously is not a part of what we meant by online learning experiences. One difference I would like to say is that when we were talking about technology and online, it was learning was more important than teaching. Now suddenly we have started talking about teaching more. In online mode, learning, in technology, learning was always at the center. It was not teaching. So that's why teacher was not at the center, but learners were always at the center. And whenever people were preparing lesson plans or other things, they always were looking at learning experience. What is the learning experience that my instructional design will give to the learners? And that plays a very, very vital role, or very important role here also there. So I have seen many teachers, they don't even put their camera on. They don't put their camera on, and then they keep on teaching, and they say you just have to listen. Now this means that the learning experience that the teacher is sharing is very dull and boring. It's very dull and boring. Teachers will have to improvise something so that the learning experience on the other side becomes very interesting also there. For example, right now I'm just showing a PPT, but along with PPT, I am using OBS Studio, and through OBS, I have done the green screen chroma key here, and I have put another camera from my mobile device, and I have merged the things together. That along with my PPT, I'm there, and I keep on moving wherever there is a space necessary. I am, and I'm now this gives a different experience altogether. This learning experience is very significant in your pedagogical design or our instructional design. That plays a very vital role. So a well-planned online learning experience is something different, wherein teacher constantly think that if I want to teach this topic, how can it be interesting? A video will help, an image will help. Will I do some board work and the board work will help me? Or will I will just sit and talk, that will help? What will give a unique experience to the learner, and what kind of things I can do? How many things do I have to work out in my online classroom? Do I have how many times I can change the spaces also, places, how many times I can change? Sometimes I can sit in garden, sometimes I can sit on terrace, sometimes in classroom, in different environments, sometimes in labs I can work. But are we trying all those things to make our learners engaged? And all depends upon what topic we are going to deal. What topic we are going to deal depends upon that how are we planning online learning experiences. That is very important. So we have to constantly think like a learner on that other side, and how that topic will become very interesting. Well, it is very stressful. It is not that easy. We have to think a lot. See, we have to deal with content, because that is very important. Our main things are content. And now we have to think about that instructional design also, that how that learning experience has to go. So it is very stressful. And these things we have not done earlier. This all things we have not done earlier. We are doing it first time. And so we don't know whether it will work or not. Even when I'm doing these workshops and other things, I remain nervous that things will work or not. I have 2-3 cameras here, and with the help of 2-3 cameras, I'm trying to connect with everybody here. So will that help me in doing the things or not, or how is it going to work out in this dynamics there? So that all becomes very, very important now. So multiple devices working on that, but just because it is first time and we don't know it will be useful or not. But if we'll not think of that, we are not going to engage our learners in a meaningful way in online things also. Flipped learning, blended learning, and try to understand what kind of experience we are going to share there. Colleges and universities working to maintain instructions during COVID-19 pandemic should understand those differences when evaluating this emergency remote teaching. So when we are going to do survey and we'll say that, well, online teaching failed, it is failing, it is not working. Well, we have to keep in mind that this is not online teaching, it is not online learning, it is emergency remote teaching, and this is going to fail because we as teachers are not ready for this. This is just our response to a crisis, a response to a disaster. And this is not what actually is supposed to be online teaching or online learning also there. Okay, so this in contrast to experiences that are planned from the beginning of and designing these things there. Just a minute, so that you can read the entire text properly. I will just keep on adjusting myself also for a while. Yeah. Okay. And so in contrast to experiences that are planned from the beginning and designed to be online, emergency remote teaching is a temporary shift of instructional delivery to an alternate delivery mode due to crisis circumstances. It involves the use of fully remote teaching solutions for instructions or education that would otherwise be delivered face-to-face or as blended or hybrid courses, and that will return to that format once the crisis and emergency has abated. So many of us are not looking at this technology integration as a long-term goal or long-term activity. We are just waiting that as soon as the crisis is over, we'll go back to our traditional model. Yesterday, I made this point also that, well, we need to think that Why it cannot become a lifelong process of involving our teaching with online things, hybrid modes, blended modes? Why that should not become an integral part of this? Why all our lectures, or at least some of our lectures, are not recorded on a regular basis, so it becomes digital repositories, and so many students can get the benefit who are not able to attend some of our classes on some occasions there. The primary objective in this circumstance is not to recreate a robust educational ecosystem, but rather to provide temporary access to instructions and instructional supports in a manner that is quick to set up and is reliably available during an emergency or crisis. When we understand ERT in this manner, we can start to divorce it from online learning. So that is very important. But are we seeing this as a temporary shift and not trying to invest time as well as money, or our thinking also, our thinking also in this aspect? Are we trying to do that or not? Are we trying to look at that aspect that, well, let me try to think of an educational ecosystem, let me have some investment for a long term into these kinds of things there. RUSA grant, many of you are aware about RUSA grants. This time RUSA grant has made it almost compulsory or mandatory that most of the grants should be spent for digital classrooms. We are working on that in our university also, that RUSA grants can be optimally utilized for digital classrooms, and we are planning on the budget of the thing that in 9 to 10 lakh rupees, one class can be completely digital, where there is a good camera, there is good internet facilities, and you can, whenever you want to record, you can record all your classes and you can air it live also. But that educational ecosystem which is necessary, that we need to think. If we are not going to think in this way, we are not going to engage our learners in a meaningful way in these kinds of activities there. So a couple of things that practically we want to see. Practically, a few things that we want to see is about Glassboard for engaging learners. That first we'll try to explore, and then we will see some of the things about Google Drive for engaging learners also there. So I would like to shift a camera to the another angle, and would like to have a view of the Glassboard, and from there we would like to try to see that how things can be utilized here, there. Okay? So I am shifting to another camera from the one here and to this, and as you know that there is this black board here. Sorry, I need to turn this into the black screen also, so I'll have to just go for a while behind the screens, and I will just change it for a while. Yeah, okay, so we are now this Glassboard we are facing here, and trying to see a few things about the Glassboard dynamics here. Okay? Okay, so using Glassboard, or if there is any kind of curiosity regarding Glassboard, what is this? That also we'll try to see, because many students, yeah, okay. So a Glassboard, and what is this and how it can be utilized, that also we need to see here. Okay. Yeah. So what this Glassboard, what is this Glassboard also, that also we will try to look at the things here. Yeah, Glassboard. Yeah. or it is also known as learning glass. Yes, learning glass, or light board, or it is also known as light board. Yeah? As yesterday we were talking about that, this facing students and working on this for many things. It is so useful for many of the people there. So those advantages, benefits, what we can do with this to make our classroom engaging. The very idea that when just you are facing students, no, when you are facing students, that itself is engaging. That itself is so much engaging. When you face this itself, and then you are doing something. Yeah, you are doing. This is so you are not only speaking. We all know that doing is always better than speaking. So you do something. So it obviously has altogether a different kind of an effect when you are doing working before slowly and steadily, and there is that process of learning. Process of learning, which significantly plays a vital role in those things there. So first thing perhaps you may be curious about is that what is this and how it can be explored, like how we can like, if you want to make, is there a technology, is this software, hardware, what is this? So very briefly I would like to showcase a few things about this here. Okay, I'm just connecting from another device so I can move on in and around this space here. Okay, let me mute this mic. Yeah, okay. So I have connected with another mobile device to show. So now you may have to change if you are working on this mobile phone. Then you have to now identify this connection. This you will find with Parvaraj, but this is my son's mobile, so I have logged in with that. So I think you will find Parvaraj, P-A-R-P, Parvaraj, and then you will be able to locate this. And if you will pin up, you will be able to see this device. So like when you work on Meet, when you work on Meet, at that time this becomes quite significant also in that capacity when you work on Meet, that how you can identify what to see. It is the control is in the hand of the users, that what they want to see. So you can identify the people who are there. You just tap on that, pin up, and you can see that. But as I told you, rotate your mobile phone. If you are on laptop, then it will easily come. If it is spotlight or other thing, then there is no worry, because I am speaking from this mobile. Yeah, but if you are not on laptop, most of you might be on a mobile phone, then you have to pin up this so you can get to see this here. Okay? So this is the glass board here, the larger view you can get it here. And what is this is that this is a simple glass. This is a simple glass, transparent simple glass, and it is connected with LED. The LED light is connecting it. The circuit around, there is LED light circuit here. Okay? And that light flows inside. There is simple physics. This is very simple physics there, and we are using this pen. These pens are fluorescent pen, neon pen. So when you work on that, it glows. This ink glows. If I put off the light, then you will see that you can't see anything. It is not visible. If you so it is the light. It is the LED light that flows, and then we have a kind of a glow. The glow that is captured by camera, and we can see this part here. So simple thing. a simple glass and LED. It is just winded up on this side. This is 12 glass. You can have a thinner glass also if you want, and a simple wooden simple table is there, and it is fixed on this there, and you can start working on this. Now then what you require for this is, like, you require a camera on the other side. You require a kind of a camera on the other side. On the other side, like for example, I have put a camera here. Okay? This is my camera here. So from here it is trying to capture when I am behind there. From this camera is capturing, but you will see here that it is inverted image. You can see the inverted image. So in this camera I have one feature of flipping. There is a feature of flipping the camera. You can see the flip. Now the resolution is clear, so you can see this flip, and because of that the mirror image is flipped. The mirror image is flipped, and so you can see this. This is digital viewer. This also is a very interesting device. This is the camera which I am using here, is a digital viewer, and this can be used as a webcam also. It can be used as webcam. You can also put objects here. You can put objects here. This camera can change, and you can show something from here also directly. So it's a very interesting device. This is a very interesting device. If you want to show 3D objects from here, you can show 3D objects and other things also from here. So this is the lab. This is our language lab, from where we have now prepared a small studio. This is learning studio. Or teaching studio now. So several experiments we keep on doing nowadays from this place. Various kinds of ideas and other thing we keep on trying here from this day. So this is a simple, but a couple of this laptops I have put here, so I can see the things. Some things are recorded or other things for connection also can be done here. So that is that camera is connected with the laptop, and whatever you do here, it gets reflected from here into this. Dark clothes you need to wear, and then you can. It is very easy to work. It's not very costly. The total cost of working or preparing this particular glass board was around 5,000 rupees only. Around 5,000 rupees only there. When we do not have this camera here, for example, this is little bit costly device, some 50,000 rupees. This. So if you do not have this, you can use your camera, your mobile phone. Here is another one where I work. So here is this your mobile phone itself is your webcam. So you can use Droid Cam, and you can use your own mobile phone as another camera, and in Droid Cam you will be able to flip the screen. You can flip the screen there. So that also is possible when you work on these devices there. So that is another alternative, that you will have to use a mobile phone on the other side as a webcam, so you can flip the things and then it can be used. That is a little bit complex part of glassboard. Otherwise everything of glassboard is very easy and very interesting part of working on this also there. Okay? So this is the glassboard idea. Now imagine, for example, writing is something very important when you are working on this and that. But if for example it's happened that you don't want to do, but still you want to write, you want to engage your learners by writing on this, but now you can't afford this glassboard or all these things you are not able to afford, then what you can do? Well, you can have a simple glass like this. Here is a simple glass. This is a simple transparent small glass. If you see here, this glass you can keep here, you can put some books here, and you can put a camera on this. And then your hands are free, and if you want to work on something, you can start working. If you want to Yeah, so this also is a very interesting part of working on several things, that when you want to do this, so that also is something that your both the hands are free. The mobile is lying on this glass, and you can put this and you can work also in this way also there. So this also becomes your a kind of a glass board of working on various papers. When you want to work, you can do several things, and this also can solve the problem. But see, these all things are very interesting, and very important also for engaging the learners for various things. When you think of engaging learners, then these all things are very important and very significant part of the things there when we try to do that. So this is a very simple thing. This can be utilized for engaging learners for the writing and other things also there. Okay, so let me put off this. Okay, so back to this one here. Okay, yeah. So this is the different ways where it can be utilized and it can be worked out in simple ways. This board is a very interesting board. Well, then in our language classrooms, many times I have talked this in another also, that when you are working on this and you are teaching vocabulary to school children, if you are working on this, and then if you just know how to draw stick people, then also you can draw very interesting thing. Like if you, for example, if you want to show this is stick people, this there is the neck, there is a torso, there is the leg, there is another leg, there is this hands, and then this is this hand. Yeah, okay, so you can say that somebody is walking, walking. Yeah. You see, now if you want to show somebody running, yeah, for example, from here to running, then well, this this way we can show people running, and then you draw some lines there, and then you can say running. Yeah. So, well, when you draw these things, it becomes very, very, very interesting. Yeah. Well, let us see this. This is a very interesting one. Yeah? You can say, who cares? Yeah. Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. So this very interesting it becomes. If you want to just turn this into a woman, then you can just draw a skirt here, and then from he to she, from boy to girl, kind of a thing, and lot many other things can be drawn or tried out on things. Like if you want to say that this person is talking something, then you can say this. Somebody is talking something. Well, if this is like thinking, then you can do thinking. Somebody is thinking, talk. Yeah. So, well, this all, when we try out such simple things on the board, it obviously becomes engaging to the learner. This is all, sometimes people may say gimmicks, because teaching also is theater. There are lots of theatrical things are required when we work in teaching. Teaching is not only the exchange of knowledge from one mind to so many minds. It is obviously there is theatrical things. There is somewhere that we want to engage our learners in different ways, that we have to try out several ways. There are very interesting games also. Board games are there which can be utilized. This tic-tac-toe games are there, where you have this cross kind knots and crosses. Vocabulary exercise can be done. Hangman game also can be utilized, where you draw the things. Like there is a kind of this. And then there is a vocabulary exercise that find the word for so and so things and so other kinds of things. And then if there is a right answer, then you will say, okay, otherwise, which each wrong answer will keep on drawing a line there. And then once the entire line is drawn, the person is hanged, the hanged man, and then that team is defeated there. So in many ways, with the glass board kind of a thing, we can make our learning very, very interesting. It all depends upon how well can we think of, various ideas to utilize on this, that it becomes very interesting for us to work out in this way also. So what is this glass board, or simple things like this glass here to write down somewhere, and when we are doing something, the process or engaging or facing people becomes very significant in this part of working out on this thing also. So this is I have found a very interesting part of engaging learners. This is facing, working, doing something on the board, improvising several ideas of working, playing some games with the help of this board. Is very engaging to the learners when we work on this kinds of ideas there. So that was this part, and then we come to see here. I would like to share this screen here, and would there is very interesting book. There is a very interesting book which talks about this work. The book is okay. This I think my sharing will be available. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think you are able to see the thing. This book, How to Use the Blackboard in Teaching English, and this is David Horsburgh. David Horsburgh's book, wherein simple lines, simple way of looking at different, like how you can start by drawing some simple lines, from simple lines to circles to common objects, and from common objects to very interesting objects, and then natural scenes, and so many other things we can learn. These are only just lines and circles. In a way, they are just lines and circles. But then this all lines and circles can make the things look very interesting while working with the thing. And obviously this book is for the English teachers, but when you see the objects and other thing, any teacher of biology, geology, geography, any science teachers or any other teachers can also utilize many of these things in working out in their classrooms also. So this becomes very interesting to engage the learners. This is obviously going back to the Blackboard era, from where we came down to make PowerPoint presentations and other kinds of things. But well, still, there is something good about this Blackboard era also. This Blackboard, working on that is very, very significant as a part of the process of learning. So why don't we utilize this into our online teaching also, even if it is traditional, but whatever things are there about traditional can be assimilated, blended with our ways of dealing with the things in terms also there. So these are some interesting ideas which we can work out and can think of working when we think of the glassboard usage in our classroom, or just pen and paper usage in the classroom can be utilized also there. So this was one thing as a part of engaging learners, which I wanted to share there. And just a minute, let me. I will have to change my this curtain again. I will have to change the curtain to come down to sit and again discuss the thing. So let me just change the curtain behind me, and then I will come down again to discuss the things here. The green for the chroma key. Those who are using OBS kind of softwares, you are aware that the green board, the green curtain, the chroma key is something very, very interesting also in making digital content and other things also there. Okay? So this is how we have improved. We are good in making jugards. Indians are very good in making jugards of various kinds. So this is a kind of a jugad of a couple of curtains that we work on here. Okay? I'm changing the camera. Okay, video, and then I'm also using the Meet, but Meet also provides very interesting features here. Okay? So this is the OBS studio where I was working earlier also. So again, I'm back to okay, just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here again we are to talk about this. Okay. So our point, the first one was about this Glassboard for engaging learners and how Glassboard kind of thing can be set up. That also we can think of. And then now Google Drive for engaging learner. That what are the features that we are getting in Google Drive to engage the learners that we have to see. I would like to share the screen so that we can see this things here. Okay, that may. Okay. Okay, so using Drive for engaging learners. When we see Drive, for example, Google Drive as a storage, another thing, many of you might be aware about Google Drive and what is there. But in case those who are not aware about this, if you are in your mailbox, whenever you are in your mailbox, at that time near your mailbox, you will see there that there are this 9 dots, 9 Google apps. When you put a cursor on that, it shows Google apps. When you click on that, you get several apps there, and there you will get Google Drive. There you will find this Google Drive, so you can open from there, or drive.google.com, drive.google.com, which you can click, and then you can visit your Drive. And several things you can get as a feature. One, Drive is a storage space where you can upload your material and you can keep it here, which it becomes very easy from here to share in Google Classroom, because Google Classroom and Google Drive, they are merged with each other. Lots of material from Google Drive you can easily share in your Google Classroom. So when you are using a Google educational tools, it is good to keep all your material in Google Drive. Your slides, you can put here, your videos, your documents, your Excel sheets, everything you can put here in Drive, and it can be easily shared in your classroom. Also, sharing material becomes very easy when you work in a similar way. Today, what we want to see is this collaborative or engaging kind of a things there. There is a button new. Whenever you want to work on Drive, there is this button new. Here you will see here there is this new plus sign and the new button there. I click on that and I get several things. I can upload file, folder, Google Doc, spreadsheet, slides, and many other things can be worked out here. For example, I am working on spreadsheet. A spreadsheet I want to work. Like, for example, the work that was given to you yesterday to put your code, your URLs in spreadsheet. So how we have done that. Let me give the title to this. This is practice for engaging learners. Yeah. Using G Drive spreadsheet. Yeah. For example, I want to ask the students to collaborate with something, some kind of a thing. For example, I am teaching grammar. Yeah. I'm teaching grammar, and I'm asking them that, okay, give me the list of nouns here. Then put here verbs, list of verbs here. Put here. Here you put adjectives. Adjectives. Here you put adverbs. Adverbs. Here you put conjunctions. Conjunction. Okay. Conjunction here. Okay, so this some of the things that I am asking students to light here. Let me make the columns more profound, so I can give things like squares, lines are visible. I can give different colors to various lines, so the things can be differentiated very easily from one to another one. Yeah, so something that can be very attractive can be done here by using different color of lines here there. Okay, now this task I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you this task, and I will ask you to put the list of nouns or verbs or adjective, whatever comes in your mind here. So how am I going to do that? When you want to share something, some kind of collaborative app or sheet or doc with the students, and you want to ask them to be attentive and work on that. See, what we are trying to see here is that how you can engage the learners, how you can keep the learners engaged with several kinds of things there. So there you will see a share button. Yeah, share button, green color share button there. So I click on this share. Share. It is right now. It is locked. There is a lock symbol. It is private to only me, so nobody else can access. I'm clicking on this. And I have to add the group, add people or group. Now see, if we have this Google group, then it is so easy. So I'm going to add a Google group. You will get a notification in your email. You have to check your email notification, and you have to come here, and you have to do some editing, and we will see live. We will see live how those editings are taking shape. So I'm adding EFDPKUD googlegroups.com. I am selecting them here as editor, editor, viewer, or commentator. If you put them as viewer, they can only watch, but they are editors, so they will be able to edit something. Dear, I will just put a message here, dear participants. Please type in the words as instructed. Yeah, as instructed. Okay, so the instructions that are given is to type some nouns or verbs or adverbs there, and I send it, and I am sending this here. So you will get email notification. I would request you to quickly come on this. Even if you are on YouTube, if you are watching on YouTube, then also if you are a member of Google, this group that we have created, you will get a notification. You will get a notification, and you can easily come to this. Okay, I already got one person here, and that is Dharanesha. Dharanesha ST. Dharanesha ST has already come here. So you can see here. You can see who is coming and what the person is doing. I see a pink color around his name, logo, and there is a pink color there also. So where what work is done, that I can see. I have another participant here, and this is Ashwini S is here. Then Lakshmi Suresh is here. Yeah, Uma Patil also is there. So see, this is, I can see the names because it is given to the group, and only the people I want them to work. My class is a closed class. I should know who has worked on it, and that's why this Google group will help you a lot. So when you share then this, so we are seeing many people coming here. Dr. Shubha also is here. So I would request, yes, watch word is already written here. Watch by Uma, Uma Patil. This Ashwini is typing in the verbs. So you can live see who is doing what work also. This is very interesting collaborative work. Now see, in a traditional classroom, when for example, as a language teacher, when we were giving some work to our students, then I write something on the board, and they are working on with the pen and paper, and I have to go in the rows. I have to go in the benches, in the rows, and I have to see what they are doing. And I can observe only one student at a time. If I am in this row, the other row, I don't know. Now here, I can see the entire class. I can see the entire class here. And I can see that whoever is working, everybody is working, and I'm sharing this link in this chat box also here. So those who are here, you can also try to access. Okay, chat isn't available here. I think the organizers have put not allowed the chat perhaps here maybe. Yeah, but you can keep the chat on. So if people are asking questions also, we can keep on checking the things there. So if the organizers are there, and then if you can, you can change the setting of chat here open. If it is in your command to do, then I can pause the thing here. Okay, right now it is not available at this time there. Okay, if it is made available, just let me know so I can pause the things here. Okay. So many words we are getting. See, mango, finish, good, slowly, and bird, singing, Raichur, Rupa, done, watch, reading, best, many. So now you can see the entire class working together. Now you go in a row and see a few students, the others are working or you don't know. And if you want to see everybody's work, it is so much time consuming. It is so much time consuming also. I think now the chat is on and I can post. I have posted that link here also. Yeah, chat is available. Thank you very much. Yes, okay. So now this link I have given here, and from there also. But if you are not the member, you will not be able to access this. You are not a member, you will not be able to access. This is the control that you get when you are collaboratively working on this. You can make a doc also. In a similar kind of way, you can make a document, and then you can ask people to work on any of these activities or whatever work you want from them. Collaboratively, everybody working together. And as a teacher, you can observe everybody's work on a single go, like live when they are working, live. Imagine this, there are 50 students in your classroom, they all are working. You can't watch everybody at a time. Here, any kind of writing work is given, and they are writing work in form of any of this work. Let me just, for example, share a doc also. Share a doc and request you to work on this also. A document I have opened up, DOC. I am just changing the name here. Practice EFDP KUD doc. Okay, Google Drive doc. Yeah, and I'm putting instructions. Teacher is putting. I request you to write one sentence that comes in your mind right now. Okay, along with your name. Along with your name. Yeah. Okay, fine. So let me put a table here. If I insert a table also, so it becomes more organized. Yeah, if I put a table, then it will become, for example, more organized, where people can, yeah, okay, here sentence, and here name. Yeah, and the name, your name, and the sentence. Two things you have to put here in this. That. So the sentence that comes in your mind and your name, two things, and you can keep on increasing this by tab. If you put a tab, you can increase more number of rows also here. Well, let me share this document. Right now it is locked. Here. So let me share the document. I'm going to share. And I am adding our EFDP email address. Yeah. FDP. Okay. EFDP. Yeah, I got it. So easy. Once it is ready, it is so easy. Instructions are already given, so I'm not putting any instructions here. You all are editor also here. I am sending this. So I request you, those who are getting this email notification, to quickly type something. So let us see how it happens. Let me put this in our chat also. I am putting this link in the chat also. So in case you don't want to check the mail, then you can quickly click on that. But okay, very quickly. See now, so many of you have come. Dr. Shubha, Dharanashi, Santosh, Hubali, Rupa, PC. So all of you are typing also. And I can see live. You all can see live. People are working on this there. So your entire class is working on some work that you have given, and you are observing everybody at a time. So it's so amazing. And this is live class. This is a live class. We are on Google Meet, and in live class also you can make your learners engaged with something. So your teaching is not dull. Your students are active, alert. They think that, well, something will be interesting. Some work will be there, and when you give this work, they always love to do. Your students, but all these improvisations are necessary. As a teacher, like when I will ask them to work something, when I will ask them to do something, when I will do something. So how imaginative we are. Technology is endless. Technology is endless. And so these technologies are almost free of cost. We were looking yesterday that we want a technology that is free of cost. It is very user friendly. It works on mobile device also. It works on low bandwidth also. So with all those kinds of things, we are looking at technologies which can make our classroom very engaging. Simple tools, and we can have very interesting sentences. I'm from Degree College, work assistant professor, computer science. Miss Shubha has Santosh, very nice. The session is very nice. Okay, Dr. Veena. Okay, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Very interesting. Feeling happy to learn. Thank you very much, Uma Devi. Shubha, I am also a ranger leader. Okay. And see here you will get grammatical error also, spelling error, grammatical error also. So students will learn language also. English language is something that is very challenging to teach. So here you will get this. So here you see that M and V. So it says that there is some problem, interesting spelling error. So you keep on, students will keep on correcting articles, simple spelling error. So that is another byproduct, that we are learning language without anybody teaching us the language there. So in that way, when we write sentences, it becomes very interesting there. People are anxious to learn. Online working, really interesting. R.D. Janardhan, Stella, Steven, Shweta, Kala, KK. Fine. So this in a very interesting way. Now say I'm making it open. Now I'm making this open for everybody. I am changing this here link here in this, and I can, instead of restricted that you see here, instead of restricted, I am anyone with the link. I'm making it anyone with the link, and then I am sharing here. Now anybody can come. Anyone with the link, viewer or editor. I am making it editor. Here we don't know who has done. That is the problem. That's why anyone with the link is a little bit dangerous. You don't know who has done what. But when you put it anyone with the link, now I put a link here again in the chat, and you can see that. And now anybody, even if you are not a member, then also you can come here. Without that also, you can access that link, and you can come here. And in that case, I can see here it is anonymous. Normally it comes with anonymous. Right now I can see the name. But if people come without that, then it is anonymous. It is visible in this way there. And here we get a history. History also, you can view the history, see version history. So here, at what time, how many people have edited. That also at 4:35, this many people have edited this. So when you want to see that some material has been distorted by somebody, erased by somebody, you can go to history and you can check it out, that who has done what. So when you click on the person, you come to know that blue color, so-and-so person, green color, so-and-so, with the color, it is identified. So that way also we can keep a check and control that if any student has deleted other students' work, or by mistake or deliberately, with the help of the history of the version, we can see that also in that also. So these are very interesting tools. This is only Google Doc and Google Sheets we are working on. Jamboard also is very interesting. Jamboard, if possible, tomorrow we will see a Jamboard here. So now there is anonymous here, okay, because it is open for everybody. So you are seeing her anonymous Liger. Anonymous Liger is there. So it is very difficult to find what unknown people are doing. That's why you can keep it within a group. But for that, what you require is Google Group. Google Group can help you in managing your classes in a different way here. Okay, so this is a Drive, Drive and various features of the Drive that we have dealt here in this capacity here. Okay, so any other questions? We are almost at the end of the day today. So now, if you have any questions or any of those things, then we can take the questions. You can put in the chat also if you want to. You can see in the chat also if there are any questions, or in any other way. We have some 7-8 minutes left to have some questions and answers for today. In one of the quiz, you will find about rubric, which we are going to discuss tomorrow. So that is an advanced quiz. 4 tests will be given to you today in Google Classroom based on flip learning and other things. One will be an advanced test, which we have not discussed today, and that we are going to discuss tomorrow. Rubric-based assessment and evaluation in Google Classroom. So that we are going to deal tomorrow. Online test, online quiz, as well as oral assessment and written assessment, how it can be done. That we are going to see in our tomorrow's class. But you have got one advanced test you will find. So you are mentally ready. You are mentally ready for tomorrow's work also there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thank you, Janardhan, Mr. Janardhan or Vishwanath. Thanks for your comments here. Well, fine. Any other questions or any observations that if you have, then we can have some questions and answers here. Okay? You can put it in the chat also if there are any questions. Yeah, thanks, Lotus. Yeah.
Spotlight.
Yes, anybody? Yeah.
Participants, any questions or any queries to Professor Dilip Bharat, sir? I think since it's a practical session now, sir, I think there are no any queries and questions from the participants. Okay. So really, it was a wonderful lecture, sir. Even we too had a good session today also. I thank from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of the IQAC and HRDC, I thank you once again for engaging learners in online remote teaching on today. And tomorrow also we have a third session by Professor Dilip Bharat sir on online assessment. So today it's, I think, so we have listened to wonderful lecture by Professor, and hope tomorrow at please join us by 3 p.m. so that we can start the class at exactly by 3:15 p.m. Thank you for today's session. Stay safe, stay home. Thank you, one and all.
Thanks a lot. Just a reminder for tomorrow. You will get 4 tests in Google Classroom. Complete the tests. 4th test is about rubric, which we are going to discuss tomorrow. If possible, read something about rubric. The links are given. Go through it. So you will very quickly come to know about what we are going to discuss tomorrow. There. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody.